Today, we're going to talk about the golden keys for relationship success. And my hope is that after sharing this, it's going to change your life forever when it comes to dating, mating, and relating. And so, what we're going to talk about today really is for those who want a significant relationship, for those who want a life partnership based relationship. Why did I say that life partnership based relationship? Because today's dating and relationships oftentimes start from a very casual perspective. In some cases, it's just hooking up. Sometimes it's friends with benefits. Sometimes it's situationships. And sometimes it's strictly just a casual relationship. And a casual relationship could include some level of commitment to one another, but the reason why it's casual, it has no real direction on where this relationship is going. See, today's single person prefers to just tiny dip their toe in the water when it comes to relationships, because in many cases, and let me repeat this, in many cases, people have felt burned in their love life. They have felt like they have had disappointing experiences. And it's kind of understandable why many people have had disappointing experiences. If you're like me, you've been divorced. Maybe not just once like me, maybe twice, maybe 3 times. If you're in midlife, I can tell you the average person who's single in the dating marketplace over 45 years old is divorced. So roughly, did you hear that? 75%. So the reality is, in many cases, people are divorced. Some people are widowed or widowers, sure. Some have not gotten married yet. And some have had multiple relationships by the time they hit their 40s, 50s, 60s, and even 70s. Think about that, multiple relationships. It's kind of like, are we human beings good at being in relationship? I know many of you fantasize about going back in time to some sort of altruistic point of view in relationship, maybe in the 1950s. But I can tell you, if you're a woman watching this, the women of the 1950s, did you know, couldn't buy a home, couldn't get a credit card on their own until the 70s. I don't think you'd want to go back to that type of environment. But the reality is it seemed like it worked back in those days because there was kind of scarcity when it came to choice, but more importantly, women were rather dependent upon men. Thankfully, that's not the case. And if you're a guy watching this, let me just tell you, it is in your absolute benefit that women are in a position where they can at least financially take care of themselves for the most part. And by the way, in today's environment, if you live in the United States, you almost need 2 incomes versus 1. In fact, I would say roughly 80% of the population definitely needs 2 incomes if you're in a relationship versus those that are in the top 20% bracket of income where they might be able to swing it both ways. So what are these golden keys I'm going to share with you today? There's 3 of them, just to give you a heads up, but this is actually based on my own personal experience, what I'm observing in my relationship right now. In fact, if you're watching me at this very moment, I'm in a significant relationship. I honestly believe this is the person I'll spend the rest of my life with till my last breath. I believe she feels the same. I can't guarantee this. I'm giving you real-time information. And as I go through video after video after video going forward, I'm going to give it to you in real time for the most part. And what I've observed is based on not only my work as a dating and relationship coach, but this is also studying relationships and what I think are the 3 golden keys for relationship success. And so the first key, if you want to write this down, can someone write this in the chat box or write it in the comment section for me? The first key or golden key to relationship success is massive friendship. Massive friendship. This is the goal. Massive friendship. Why do I say massive friendship instead of just friendship? I want you to think about it for a moment. Just right now, close your eyes, visualize the closest friend you have in your life. What comes up for you when you think of your closest friend? Do you feel like this is a person you could say anything to? Is this the person that has your back? Is this the person that you can call when your car gets stuck and they'll get up at 2 a.m. to come pick you up? See, I want you to think about, I've got my eyes closed, but I want you to think about that person that's already in your life. that you have a really solid friendship. Communication, depth, play, emotional safety, the foundation that makes it sustainable for the two of you. It says we genuinely like each other, not just love each other. And by the way, friendships, don't you love your friends? You might also emphasize that you're curious about one another. Or let me just say this, within friendship, you're curious about one another. Beyond the how's your day going, you want to go more deeper. If someone's having a bad day, tell me about it. I'm here to hold your hand. I'm here to be that container of love and care. But most importantly, you really, really like this person. That's why I say massive friendship. You really, really like this person. You like being with them. You share a lot of similarities. I want to share something personal with you in my relationship. Last week we went to a play, or a musical, I should say. And at some point we were walking in Hollywood Boulevard where the Hollywood stars, and we saw someone, a name, and now it just escapes me in the moment, but it reminded us of the movie Grease. And we both started to sing the line of Grease Lightning together. And we were just laughing. And the couple that we're with probably were looking at us, side-eyed, going, what is it about these two? See, friendship is about play. It's about emotional safety. It's about comfort. It's about depth. And you see, sadly today in our dating environment, and I see this so frequently as a coach, when I talk to a woman or a man who's gone through a breakup, one of the first questions I ask are, were you really good friends with one another? It saddens me how often I hear, no, we weren't really good friends with each other. You see, today's dating environment is so hyper-focused on attraction, entertainment, romance, and physical connection, well before the foundation of friendship is built. How is friendship built? Let me just share that with you. Write this down. It's built through social activities, hobbies, mutual interest. It's built through spending time with family and friends. It's built by traveling together, teamwork, building skills both in your personal and your professional life, intimacy for those romantic relationships, both emotional and physical intimacy, but it's also built with conversations about the future. See, in romantic love, it's really important to talk about how did we get to where we are today? See, for those of us in midlife, if you're 40, 50, or even 60 watching this, and you're meeting someone for the first time at age 60 years old, you have a life well before you met this person. And by the way, that life has not just meaning to it, but it also gives context to who you are. So it's really important to share. How did you get to where you are today? But Jonathan, I'm with a guy that won't talk about his past. See, here's the thing. If someone isn't willing to share who they were a year before they met you, 5 years before they met you, 20 years before he met you, is that someone you want to roll the dice? But Jonathan, we have this amazing chemistry together. It's so off the charts. We'll discuss that in a moment too. But you can argue for your limitations, or you can say to yourself, you know what? I might be really rolling the dice with someone who isn't emotionally available enough to lean into a deeper conversation. Okay, so we just covered massive friendship, excuse me. And we talked about how to get there: social activities, hobbies, mutual interest, spending time with family and friends. That's what builds a friendship, okay? So just put that in your reticular activating system for a moment, okay? Next, amazing romance. Number 2, amazing romance. Now, when I think of romance, I think of certainly chemistry. I think of the physical connection. I think of doing the little things to make a person happy. It's kind of interesting. At the time I'm recording this, the second season of Nobody Wants This came out, excuse me. And there's a scene where Noah buys a little nightstand for Joanne. And she is over the moon excited. And then it was Valentine's Day, and he totally went over the top with romantic things for Valentine's Day. That was a little bit contrived. And she said, you know what? It was more romantic that you bought me that nightstand Then you did the bubble baths and the candies and all that kind of stuff. I don't think he bought candies, but I'm just giving you a sense of what was going on. Amazing romance. Now, what I mean by romance, I'm also talking about the physical connection with one another. Let's just face it. You can have mediocre sex and probably get by in a relationship. You can have good sex, and that's really great that you have good sex. But I want you to imagine that you have amazing sex with your partner, amazing connection with them. See, now I'm not just talking, when I say the 3 golden keys to relationship success, I'm talking about a juicy, delicious, healthy, happy relationship. I'm talking about a life partnership-based relationship where you are literally in a state of love. What does love mean? What does love mean when you say, I love you to a person? You know, to me, it means I'm here. You matter. We are important. I've got your back. I'm not going anywhere and I only want you. When I say I love you to my partner, it says I am grateful that you're in my life. When I say it cheeky, when I say I love you to her in a cheeky way, it means I really, really like you. And when I say it in a deep, meaningful way, it's really saying I am so grateful that you're in my life. Amazing romance includes words, includes doing the little things, and certainly includes having a great time in the bedroom. By the way, folks, not everyone's great in the bedroom, but these are things you can learn, believe it or not. These are things you can learn about each other. I've shot videos about this before. I brought sex experts on. And do yourself a favor. You can watch a gazillion videos on how to become better lovers and do it together with one another to create the amazing romance that will sustain a long-lasting, juicy, delicious, healthy, happy relationship. The third key, grounded partnership and its skills. Grounded partnership and its skills. This completes the Trinity. The holy trinity of lasting love, massive friendship, amazing romance, and grounded partnership. What is grounded partnership? First off, it's shared goals, it's mutual respect, it's a shared vision, it's a desire to be in a long-term relationship. You see, today's people dating oftentimes date with a short-term mating strategy. When you're dating like I had or I have, and I am now in a relationship that has a long-term trajectory. We did this from the very first conversation. And remember I said we talk about how we got to where we're at? In a grounded partnership, you talk about where you're at, but more importantly, you continually talk about where is this relationship going? It should be an ongoing conversation during the first 1 to 2 years. Now, you may not know where it's going, but at least you're exploring it from that vantage point. You're not just, hey, let's just live in the moment. Let's just live for now. Let's just be present. Sure, you can do that, but here's the tricky part. And for those guys that say this to women, I want you to know something. The minute you invest your body to someone, we become attached. Or when I say women become attached, men become attached too. Okay, so let me be clear. The minute we become attached to someone, it's rather naive to just say, hey, let's just go with the flow. I want to take it slow. You know, we don't need to know where this is going. That's fucking bullshit. If you're 3 months into a relationship and the penis is going inside the vagina on a regular basis, then you better be, or at least, hey, this is just the rules according to Jonathan. You can do whatever you want. But I'm saying if you're 3 months in, you know, and if you're a guy watching this, you know whether or not you have long-term aspirations. And here's the problem with a lot of you guys and some of you women out there as well. See, your relationship desire, capacity, and vision. All right, let me do it over here. Relationship desire, capacity, and vision must exceed your fears, your past hurts, and your fantasy. It must exceed it. See, sadly, it's usually the other way around. The pain, the fear, pain, and the fantasy of relationship exceeds the desire, capacity, and vision. Do you get that? And by the way, please forgive me, I'm yelling. I'm just really excited about this conversation. Grounded partnership. It's emotional maturity. It's relationship skills. It's emotional regulation, shared goals, that ability, that glue of holding hands together in friendship and romance. And the skills, the communication skills. In fact, if you haven't read the book, listen, if you're having regular sex with someone, you better buy this book and read it together, called Nonviolent Communication by Marshall Rosenberg. You better be reading it. Because guess what? Many of you human beings, myself included, have weak emotional maturity and poor relationship and communication skills. And if you want a partnership, it has to be grounded in the skills. Look, I've been scratching the ant's belly for the last 20 years to be in the capacity where I can riff this. I mean, yeah, I got a few notes here, but I can riff this. I can communicate my thoughts, my feelings in a way that can be seen, heard, and understood. Let me tell you something. Did you hear what I said? My thoughts and my feelings. Do you know, I have coached women for almost 15 years, and so many women have so much difficulty even identifying what they're feeling and then expressing it in a way that can be seen, heard, and understood. And you know what they usually wear when they're stuck? They do this. They wear duct tape. They're afraid. Because these are hard conversations to talk about your fears, your insecurities, your negative patterns, your limiting beliefs, your judgments, your projections, and how they can affect other people. We human beings are so poor at this. And yet, here's the thing. We all think it's their fault. No, it's their fault. No, it's their fault. This is the hilarious thing about human beings. Most humans can't look in the mirror and say, I'm not good at this. I invite you to say it, and it's okay to say it. I do it. I'm still scratching the ant's belly, and thankfully I have a partner where we love to talk about this stuff. So now the question is, how do we make this holy trinity, these three golden rules, golden keys, a reality? How can we make that happen? Hey, one of the things I do as a coach, by the way, there's a link below to schedule a discovery call with me to see if working with a coach is right for you. There's a link below. One of the things is learning discernment skills, learning how to ask the radically honest questions early on to determine if you're a fit with one another. This isn't easy stuff. Let me just tell you, this isn't easy. But discernment, and you've got to put, let's face it, whether we like it or not, online dating is the primary place to meet people. That's where I met my beloved. We met online. We had to go through 3 different apps to get to one another. And if you want, I can talk about that more. But we first met on Bumble, then on Match, then on Hinge, finally, before we met in person. That's okay. You know what? I have no regrets. I have only nothing but gratitude for the online dating system. I know so many of you, oh my God, you look at dating from this vantage point of how negative it is. In fact, I get reel after reel from Instagram and stories from Facebook of all the negativity about dating. And let me tell you something, if you're feeding that wolf, it's like living in Los Angeles. You'll see nothing but white Teslas. And let me just tell you a little story. I did this to myself before I met my beloved. Because in Los Angeles, there's nothing but white Teslas, okay? I don't know if the city you're in has as many as we do here. But I looked at the negativity and the disappointment, the dating marketplace is white Teslas, and I saw them all over. But you know what I was looking for? A red Porsche Cabriolet. I said to myself, if I see a red Porsche Cabriolet, I'm going to meet my beloved. I decided to feed that wolf, the wolf of the red. In other words, it's going to be something special. I see all the garbage out there, but I'm looking for the red Porsche Cabriolet. And guess what? About 8 months before I met my beloved, I saw one and had a date that night. It didn't go anywhere, but that's okay. Then a few months later, I was going out on another date. I saw a red Porsche Cabriolet. I thought, wow, this could be it. Date didn't go anywhere. That's okay. Nice person. Went out on a couple more dates. Didn't see a red Cabriolet until, I swear to God, this is an honest to God story. This is a true story. As I was driving to the restaurant to meet my now beloved, I saw a red Porsche Cabriolet drive by me, and I just thought to myself, this isn't it. I'd seen a couple, and this time I said, it isn't it. And sure enough, we had our first date and we didn't think that there was chemistry, or we didn't think we were each other's type. Lo and behold, chemistry had been brewing between us over the next 10 days. And then we finally saw each other again and the chemistry was ignited. And since then, we are experiencing the Holy Trinity, the three golden keys of massive friendship, amazing romance, and grounded partnership. And that's what I want for all of you. I so want that for all of you. And if I can be a part of that journey for you, sharing from my experiences, sharing my truth, I want to be a part of that for you. Has this conversation resonated with you? I'd love to hear what you thought about these three golden keys. Post a comment below. I do my best to read them all in the first 24 hours. As always, if you find value in my videos, please hit that like button. Please share this video. Please subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so you can be notified of new videos as well. And if you want to connect with me, learning how to attract this amazing, juicy, delicious, healthy, happy relationship, links below. Schedule a discovery call. It doesn't cost you anything for a few minutes. Join my group called Midlife Love Mastery. Get my links to my website. Get my dating vows. You're going to want to read my dating vows, and then follow me on social media as well.